So let us start. So I have taken the previous year problems. So those problems actually I'll just list down first, and then actually if any of the concepts that are not covered or where UPS is focusing it, right? So those concepts I'll cover it and then I'll try to solve some of the problems. See this, as I said, right? So the knowledge that will test the entire concept of Laplace transforms is the last class actually whatever I have taken, that is the differential equation solutions, both the linear differential equations and the simultaneous differential equations. That will test the complete finding out the Laplace transforms, finding out the inverse Laplace transform, and applying the Laplace transforms. Everything is covered in that particular problem. So that is anyway covered. Got it? Right? Now actually, so I'll just list down the problems actually. So in 2013, actually we have got one problem in Laplace transforms. So this is by using Laplace transform, solve the differential equation. B square plus n square of x is equal to a into d square is defined as d square by dt square subjected to the initial conditions x equal to 0, comma dx by dt equal to 0 at t equal to 0, where a comma n comma alpha are constants. Right? This is one problem statement, right? And this actually it is directly from BS Gravel textbook, and this was solved, I think, right? And then actually in 2014, solve the initial value problem. Solve the initial value problem. D square y by dt square plus y is equal to 8 into e power minus 2t into sin t. Y of 0 is equal to 0. Y dash of 0 is equal to 0 by using Laplace transform. Right? So this problem was given for the 15 marks and this problem was given for the 20 marks. Got it? So this I forgot, sin of nt plus alpha. So d square plus n square of x is equal to a into sin of nt plus alpha, where d is equal to d square by dt square. So this was given for 15 marks and this was given for 20 marks. And then in 2015, obtain the Laplace transform. Obtain the inverse Laplace transform of log of one plus 1 by s square plus s by s square plus 25 e power minus rs. And then there is one more. Using Laplace transform, solve y double dash plus y is equal to t, comma y of 0 is equal to 1, y dash of 0 is equal to minus 2. And these problems actually, I think it was given for 12 marks. And then in 2016, using Laplace transform, solve the following: y double dash minus 2y dash minus 8y equal to 0, and y of 0 is equal to 3. Y dash of 0 is equal to 6. In 2017, solve the initial value problem. (20y double dash plus 4y dash plus y equal to 0. Y of 0 is equal to 3.2 and y dash of 0 equal to 0. In 2017, solve the initial value problem. And this might be a typo. I think we need to cross check this. So maybe usually actually integers will be given, not the fractions. So 2017, solve the initial problem, initial value problem. So d square y by dt square plus 9y is equal to r of x or r of t. Y of 0 is equal to 0 and y dash of 0 is equal to 4. Then r of t is given as 8 sin t when t less than 0 less than pi and equal to 0 in between if t greater than pi. In 2018, solve y double dash minus 5y dash plus 4y is equal to e power 2t. And then y of 0 is equal to 19 by 12 and y dash of 0 is equal to 8 by 3. In 2019, find the Laplace transform of t power minus 1 by 2 and t power 1 by 2. Prove that the Laplace transform of e power n plus 1 by 2 is equal to gamma of n plus 1 plus 1 by 2 whole divided by s power n plus 1 plus 1 by 2, right? So these are all the problems actually that were given as part of the Laplace transform, right? So I'll just show you all the problems. If you notice here actually by using Laplace transform, solve the differential equation d square plus n square of x is equal to a of sine nx plus alpha, and then actually d square by dt square, sorry, this is nt only, yeah. So d square by dt square subjected to the initial conditions given by x is equal to 0 and dx by dt equal to 0 at t is equal to 0. So this was a straightforward problem, that is the applications of the Laplace transforms, which we have solved it already. And then actually solve the initial problem d square y by dt square plus y is equal to 8 into e power minus 2t sin t. This is exactly the same thing. So this is again the applications of the Laplace transform. Apply the Laplace transform on either sides, what we have solved yesterday or day before yesterday, and then actually identify y of s separately and then find out the L inverse value. That is the straightforward problem. And then the initial conditions were given, y of 0 is equal to 0 and y dash of 0 is equal to 0. Again, the next one is obtain the inverse Laplace transform of log of 1 plus 1 by s square plus s by s square plus 25 into e power minus rs. So here actually this concept actually I have explained. If at all there is a multiplicative factor of e power minus as, then you find out the Laplace inverse of this function s by s square plus 25, which is nothing but cos 5t, and then actually that t needs to be replaced with t minus r. That is the only difference. And then actually you need to multiply u of t minus r. So that function actually we can find out the L inverse value here. And then actually this you can divide s square plus 1 divided by s square. And then actually log of 1 plus s square minus log of s square. And then actually if you take the derivative of it, then actually it is going to be of 1 by s square plus 1 and 1 by s square, for which you will be able to find out the Laplace transform inverse. And then actually as the derivative is equal to t into f of t, so this model actually which we have already solved, and with the log only we solved, so this was also covered. So this actually concept is an extra concept what we have covered yesterday, where the function becomes f of a minus t or t minus a rather than f of t. So that is the only difference, and the a value is going to be of r here. Got it? And then actually the next one is obtain the inverse Laplace. Sorry, this is done. Using the Laplace transform method, find out the solution for y double dash plus y is equal to t, where y of 0 is equal to 1 and y dash of 0 is equal to minus 2. And this is also, this model actually is exactly the same model what we have solved. Most of the models actually exactly the same thing. And then even here using Laplace transform solve this differential equation. This is also the same model and the initial conditions were given, right? And again solve the initial value problem. This is also exactly the same model and there is no difference. So again actually we have solved this model. And solve the initial value problem. So this actually, this is again the Laplace transform you need to be finding out. But here if you notice, finding out the Laplace transform for r of t also actually is included. So as I said earlier, right? So this problem, if you notice actually, here actually you need to identify how to find out the Laplace transform, because this is a function r of t given by 8 sin t when the value of t is in between 0 to pi, and 0 if the value is greater than t. So this is the difference. And then actually once you find out the Laplace transform, on the left side is the differential equation, hence actually you will be applying the Laplace transform technique to identify y bar of s separately, and then actually find out the y bar of s and then take the inverse of it, you are going to get the same thing. So this also is exactly the same model, no difference. And then actually in 2018 also it is exactly the same model, no difference. So as you notice actually in almost all the cases except for one case actually, you notice that actually only the applications of the Laplace transform to solve the differential equations, that too linear only, or that too actually first order differential equation or the second order differential equations only, but it's not extended to the simultaneous differential equations if you notice from 2013 to 2019. Got it? And that too, finding out the Laplace transform is not focused, and only thing that was focused is applications of the Laplace transform, which involves the dependency on finding out the inverse Laplace transform with the help of maybe the convolution technique or maybe the known techniques, whatever we learned, right? And then actually the last one, if you notice, but this concept actually I have not covered. So in 2019, so find the Laplace transform of t power minus 1 by 2 and t power 1 by 2. Prove that the Laplace transform of t power 1 n plus 1 by 2 is going to be of gamma. So this is a gamma function, gamma of n plus 1 plus 1 by 2 divided by s power n plus 1 plus 1 by 2. This model actually, it demands the knowledge of the gamma functions. So here actually we need to understand, I'll just brief this model and then we need to understand what is a gamma function. So the gamma function actually is defined as any function gamma. So gamma of n, and this was defined as integral 0 to infinity e power minus x into x power n minus 1 dx. And this was is defined as the function of n. If you notice here actually the way we were doing the Laplace transform of any particular function f of t, if you want to identify it, integral 0 to infinity e power minus st f of t dt. And if you notice here actually on the right side, once we find out the Laplace transform, you left with a function of s alone. So this is a function of s alone. Why? Because you are doing the integration with respect to dt and you are substituting the limits of t. Hence, actually, you will be left with only one parameter called s in this case. Now, exactly in the similar manner, the gamma function, similar to this one, actually, we have defined the gamma function as integral 0 to infinity. These are the limits of x, and then x is equal to 0 to x is equal to infinite. E power minus x into x power n minus 1. If you find out the integral and substitute the values of the x as the limits, you will be left with some function of n alone. So this function is called as the gamma function. So this is what is gamma of n. So this is how actually it was defined. By definition, it was like that. Got it? Now here actually, if you want to identify the, for any particular function, if you want to identify the gamma function value for any particular number, that is, this is being a number. So this number may be an integer value or maybe a real number. Integer or maybe a real number, right? So here actually two different cases actually we will try to analyze this gamma function. Now let us take gamma of n plus 1. So gamma of n plus 1, and this value is nothing but integral 0 to infinity e power minus x into x power. So here actually n minus 1. So that is n plus 1 minus 1 into dx. Now this 1 will cancel out. We left with integral 0 to infinity e power minus x into x power n into dx. Got it? So this is a solvable integral for us. Now here actually, if you apply the by parts rule, so integral u dv is equal to uv minus integral v du. So this is by parts actually. Now here actually, we take dv is equal to e power minus x into dx, and then u is equal to x power n. Then du can be expressed as n into x power n minus 1 into dx, and then v can be expressed as v is equal to e power minus x by minus 1. So this value, if you substitute here, gamma of n plus 1 can be treated as integral 0 to infinity. So you substitute uv formula directly. So u value is e power minus x divided by minus 1 into x power n minus integral v du. So v is nothing but, so v is equal to e power minus x by minus 1. Du is n into x power n minus 1 into dx. Now this minus 1 and n actually being the constants, you substitute the limits here, and this value upper limit is going to be of 0 and the lower limit is going to be of again 0. So minus of minus will be plus, and then actually n into integral 0 to infinity e power minus x into x power n minus 1 to dx. See this, if you notice, this function is going to be of n into gamma of n. So gamma of n plus 1 is nothing but n into gamma of n. Got it? Is this understood or not? Is this understood? Right? So here actually, the way we have defined the Laplace transform, the gamma function is also defined, and the gamma function by definition, it is integral 0 to infinity e power minus x and then x power n minus 1, not x power n, x power n minus 1. That is by definition. Now for gamma of n plus 1, actually if you calculate, this value leads to a factorial function here. So this factorial function gamma of n plus 1 is nothing but n minus 1 factorial. You can straight away say, as long as n is an integer value here, right? So we are treating this n as the integer value, and then actually we are just taking it further. Now here actually, obviously this can be expressed as n, and then actually gamma of n can be expressed as n minus 2 of gamma of n minus 2. Sorry, n minus 1 into gamma of n minus 1. Again, gamma of n minus 1 can be extended to n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into gamma of n minus 2. So like this, actually this process continues. So if n is equal to, suppose if you take gamma of 3, then this is going to be of 2 into 1. So this is nothing but 2 factorial. Or gamma of 10 is equal to 9 factorial. N minus 1 factorial in general. Got it? As long as n is an integer value. Because suppose if n is not as integer value, for example, n is equal to 1 by 2, then actually there is no meaning for 1 by 2 factorial, right? That needs to be solved separately. Now, that's exactly what is the knowledge that is expected in solving this previous problem. If n value is going to be of a fraction, so this is of minus 1 by 2 or plus 1 by 2, then actually you have to be identifying the value of this function value. So t power minus 1 by 2 here. Now let us see how we can solve this Laplace transform. Now let us say gamma of 1 by 2, if you take it, then this is going to be of integral 0 to infinity e power minus x into x power n minus 1. N is 1 by 2 minus 1 into dx. Now this is gamma of 1 by 2 value. And this gamma of 1 by 2 value, this value can be expressed as integral 0 to infinity e power minus x into x power minus 1 by 2 into dx. So x power minus 1 by 2 into dx. Now actually we have to be solving this differential equation. So we have to be solving this integral value. But here actually, with the known method of by parts, we cannot solve this. By looking at this problem statement, you can simply say that we cannot solve it, because if you keep on do the differentiation or the integration for this e power minus x, it will continue till infinity, it will never end. And even if you take the derivative or integral for this function also, x power minus 1 by 2, it will never end, it will continue for infinite times. So hence actually you cannot make use of the chain rule, or you cannot make use of the by parts rule to solve this particular integral. So for solving this kind of problems, there is one more technique actually. We will be using the double integration technique, and then actually we will be able to solve with the help of the polar coordinate system. I'll just give you a brief of it, and then actually we'll try to solve this. See this, so this is actually, it is coming out to be integral 0 to infinity e power minus x into x power minus 1 by 2 into dx. Now this function value is gamma of 1 by 2. Now what I will do is, the same gamma of 1 by 2 can even be expressed in a different manner, that is integral 0 to infinity e power minus y into y power minus 1 by 2 dy. So this is also exactly the same value. This is the fundamental theorem of the integration. As long as the limits are same and the functions are same, it is independent of the variable or the independent variable. So you can keep any variable, but the integral value will be exactly the same. So this is also gamma of 1 by 2. This is also gamma of 1 by 2. If you multiply these two, gamma of 1 by 2 whole square. Now if you square it, this can be even be treated as the double integral varying from 0 to infinity and then 0 to infinity and then e power minus x square. So this is Okay. So before doing the double integration, actually I'll make a further simplification. Now see this actually here. If I replace, let us say u is equal to x square. Let us say. Sorry, u square equal to x if you take it. U square is equal to x if you take it. Then actually 2u du is equal to dx. So dx can be replaced with 2u du, and this value is further simplified as the limits are again 0 to infinity for the value of u, and then actually e power minus x is nothing but e power minus u square, and then x power minus 1 by 2. So this is whole square. So u square whole power minus 1 by 2. This is going to be of 1 by u. So this is of 1 by u, and then 2u du. So this u will cancel, and finally we left with 2 times of integral 0 to infinity e power minus u square du. Got it? I hope everybody understood this conversion. So we just actually put the intermittent variable u square is equal to x. From there actually we simplified this integration to come to the point 2 times of integral 0 to infinity e power minus u square du. This is as if like you can replace any other variable 2 times of integral 0 to infinity e power minus x square dx also. As I said earlier, the fundamental theorem of integration states that it is independent of the variable what we are going to use, as long as the limits are same and the function is same. So the same value actually here e power minus x square and e power minus y square, and then dx dy, you can do this. So this is the square of gamma of 1 by 2. This value is equal to x is varying from 0 to infinity, and y is also varying from 0 to infinity, and this is coming out to e power minus x square and e power minus y square into dx dy. I hope everybody understood this. Got it? So these are some of the special cases that we are going to discuss in mathematics. So these are some of the examples like that. Now this can be treated as integral 0 to infinity e power minus of x square plus y square into dx dy. Now this is a double integral. Now the area of this double integral, if you want to identify it, then this value is going to be of, so this is x axis and this is y axis. X varying from 0 to infinity and y is also varying from 0 to infinity. So the entire region of this entire, the first coordinate, so this is going to be the area what we are going to identify. Now to identify this area, the integral value actually we have seem to be 0 to infinity e power minus of x square plus y square and then dx dy. Now this integral value I will convert into a polar coordinate system. So in the case of polar coordinate system, you will be using r and theta as the variables rather than x and y. So r and theta, the elemental area in polar coordinate system can be identified in this manner. So this is the elemental area. So this is one radial distance, this is another radial distance, and then actually this is the angle d theta, right? So this is the angle d theta. This elemental area can be identified as r into d theta into dr. So this is the value of r into d theta into dr is nothing but the elemental area in the case of polar coordinate system. Why? Because r d theta is nothing but this length, this arc length, and dr is nothing but this length. So this is dr and this value is r d theta. Now as r is dr value approaching 0 and d theta approaching 0, this can be approximated as a rectangle like this with a length of dr and with a length of r d theta. The product of these two values will be the elemental area. So this is r dr d theta. This you can even calculate with the help of finding out the Jacobians in the, so in calculus actually I will be explaining finding out the Jacobian, which is nothing but conversion from one coordinate system to another coordinate system. There actually we prove that the Jacobian value is going to be of r. But without knowing that knowledge also, you can easily identify the elemental area in a polar coordinate system as the approximated rectangle having a length of r d theta and having a length of dr. Got it? Right? So this is true for all the values because dr is approaching 0 and d theta is approaching 0 in calculus. So here actually this is the elemental area. So this dx dy can be replaced with r d theta dr. This is one thing. And then actually this value e power minus x square plus y square, and then actually x square plus y square, and this value I can replace in Cartesian coordinate system as, for any coordinates, if I take x comma y points here, so this length is nothing but r, and this r value can always be expressed as r square is equal to x square plus y square. So r square can be replaced here. So this value is, so e power minus r square into r dr d theta. This is the integral value inside, and the limits now you have to put it in the polar coordinate system. To identify the entire first coordinate in the polar coordinate system, the r value is changing from 0 to infinity, and theta is varying from 0 to pi by 2. So this can be replaced as theta varying from 0 to pi by 2, and then r varying from 0 to infinity, e power minus r square r d theta dr. This value is gamma of 1 by 2 whole square. Got it? I hope it is understood. It is understood or not? Right? So once you understand this, then this integral we can easily solve it. Suppose actually if I take r square is equal to t, then actually dt can be expressed as 2r dr. So 2r dr, and then actually here actually when you square it, actually there is one factor of 2 here. So 2 will become 4 here, and then here actually 2r dr can be expressed as dt, and then so integral 0 to pi by 2, and these t limits are from again 0 to infinity, e power minus t into r dr can be replaced with dt, and then d theta. So integral e power minus t is going to be of e power minus t integral 0 to pi by 2 dt by 2. So this is 4 by 2 integral 0 to pi by 2 e power minus t, upper limit is infinite and lower limit is 0, and then d theta is there. So this is 2 times of e power minus t, upper limit is 0 and lower limit is going to be of minus 1. So this is going to be of 2 times of integral 0 to pi by 2 d theta. So this is going to be of pi by 2 into 2. I think there is one minus sign here. Yeah, there is one minus sign, right? So that's what I forgot. So here actually e power minus the integral value is divided by minus 1, right? So this is going to be of divided by minus 1. So this is going to be of pi will cancel. So 2 will cancel out. And then finally gamma of 1 by 2 whole square. This value is going to be of pi, or it implies gamma of 1 by 2. This value is going to be of root pi. Yeah, that is correct, right? Now what is your question? So how it is 4 times? So as I explained earlier, there is a factor of 4 here. See this? Here actually gamma of 1 by 2 is expressed as integral 0 to infinity e power minus x power minus 1 by 2 dx. Now this is 0 to infinite e power minus x power 1 by minus 1 by 2 is converted into u square is equal to x. So wherever x is there, you replace with u square, and then actually here u square minus whole power 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2, 2 will cancel, then 1 by u is there. And if you substitute the value u square is equal to x, then the corresponding dx also needs to be replaced with 2u du. This 2u du, 2 comes actually outside. Now this is only gamma of 1 by 2. When you calculate gamma of 1 by 2 whole square, which is the product of two such kind of functions, 2 into 2 is going to be of 4, and then one function is integral 0 to infinity e power minus x square, and another function is integral 0 to y infinity into e power minus y square dx dy. Got it? Right? Then actually, so then we have solved the double integral by converting into the polar coordinate system. This polar coordinate system, actually we have just converted everything into the polar form, And then actually we solve the integral as usual, that is in the normal way of solving a double integral. So this value leads to pi, and that is the value of gamma of 1 by 2 whole square. Hence actually gamma of 1 by 2 value is going to be of square root of pi. So this is one proof, and this is the basic knowledge that is required. And this gamma function is out of scope for us, and it's not part of the syllabus, but still actually very rarely or once actually only last year actually it was asked in the Laplace transforms to find out. Hence actually I discussed this. Otherwise actually it's of nowhere it is useful for us. Got it? And then actually, so we found the value of gamma of 1 by 2. Why we were finding out this gamma of 1 by 2 value is, suppose if you want to find out the Laplace transform of t power n. So earlier actually when I solved the Laplace transform, I have just taken the n value as the integer value, and then actually I tried expressing the Laplace transform by taking the integer value. But in case actually if it was a fraction, so the way actually it was given in 2019, where n is going to be of 1 by 2. Now in such cases actually there is a requirement of this gamma function, right? So here actually, so Laplace transform of t power n is integral 0 to infinity e power minus st and then t power n into dt. So this is the Laplace transform finding out. Now to solve this integral value, let us consider st is equal to, let us say st is equal to u. Then s being the constant, s into dt is equal to du, or dt can be expressed as du by s. So this is one. And then actually t power n can be expressed as t power n is equal to u by s whole power n, or this can be expressed as u power n by s power n. Now if you substitute these values here, this is integral 0 to infinity e power minus st is replaced with u, and then so t power n needs to be replaced with u power n by s power n, and then dt can be replaced with du by s. Now everything is converted in terms of u, so this is going to be of u limits now. And if you notice, s power n and s is there in the denominator, 1 by s power n plus 1, integral 0 to infinity u, so e power minus u multiplied by u power n into du. And the gamma function actually I just explained that this is going to be of e power minus x into x power n, which is nothing but 1 by s power n plus 1, integral 0 to infinity e power minus u into u power n plus 1 minus 1, because this is the one actually we have to take care of this minus 1 in the case of gamma functions. Hence this can be expressed as 1 by s power n plus 1, and then this, if you notice, this is gamma of n plus 1. So this is the value of the Laplace transform of t power n if we express in the standard format. If n is an integer value, then this you can replace with n minus, so n factorial. If n is integer value, gamma of n plus 1 is nothing but the n factorial. That's exactly the reason actually why we replace n factorial divided by s power n plus 1 as long as n is an integer value. Got it? This limits you are asking me to explain. There is no confusion to explain this. See this? Here actually st is equal to u. I just replaced it. And then based on this replacement, we have to change the limits of t corresponding to u. Polar form. Anybody else has the doubts on polar form? No? Okay. Fine. Okay. I'll just quickly recap it. See this? Polar coordinates actually, if you are identifying the limits, one is the maximum value of the change r. So r is varying from 0 to the maximum value infinite, and theta is actually varying from 0 to pi by 2, because the way we express the polar coordinates is r into theta. So r value is actually, this is the radial length starting from the origin point. Going away is treated as the radial length. Hence actually this is started from here and it went to infinite to cover this entire first quadrant. And then actually the theta value to cover the entire 4 coordinates, actually it has to vary 360 degrees. But if you want only the first quadrant, then this is only the 90 degrees change. So this area to be identified in the polar coordinates as theta varying from 0 to pi by 2 and r varying from 0 to infinity. Got it? Right? Okay. So this is the Laplace transform. Now here actually for any value, this is valid. So the Laplace transform of e power n irrespective of whether n is an integer value or a fractional value, this value is always equal to gamma of n plus 1 divided by s power n plus 1. So this is the meaning of it. Now for gamma of n plus 1, as long as it is an integer value, this actually we proved that this is going to be of n factorial. But if this value is of a fractional value, so 1 by 2 plus 1, this is not equal to n factorial because no factorial can be defined for a fractional value. Got it? See, because anyway, so the changing of the polar coordinates to Cartesian coordinates is actually I will take a detailed class. So that is not a small concept. So that actually I will be covering as part of the calculus. Don't worry about it. Got it? And that is as simple as this way actually. So what I have explained, right? So you need to understand the concept of coordinate system. That actually, if you want, actually there were many videos I made which are available in YouTube also. So those videos actually will give you a detailed understanding on different types of coordinate systems. See this, so the gamma function, right? So that depends on actually for how many marks actually it was asked. If it is asked for only for 5 marks or 10 marks, you don't need to be doing all these things. But if it is asked for 20 marks, actually you have to be doing all these things. Got it? Yash, I am telling you, right? Fine. So here actually, so it is always good to learn everything here. And now actually this is a generalized way. Now for the fractional part actually, if you want to find out the Laplace transform of t power 1 by 2, Laplace transform of t power 1 by 2, and this value is gamma of, so n plus 1. So n is going to be of 1 by 2 plus 1 divided by s power n plus 1. So n plus 1 is going to be of 1 by 2 plus 1. So this is going to be of gamma of 3 by 2 divided by s power 3 by 2, and this is the answer. But we have to be aware of what is this value of gamma of 3 by 2. And again, if you take the Laplace transform of t power minus 1 by 2, and these two were asked actually in the 2019, and this value is going to be of gamma of minus 1 by 2 plus 1 divided by s power minus 1 by 2 plus 1, and this is going to be of gamma of 1 by 2 divided by s power 1 by 2. So gamma of 1 by 2 actually we just proved that this is going to be of root pi, and then actually s power 1 by 2 we just proved that this, so this is root s. So here it is going to be a root of pi by s. So this is the value of the Laplace transform of t power 1 minus 1 by 2. Got it? But this value actually we still didn't find it because this integral is also a little tougher. So this integral to solve actually, so we need to be finding of gamma of 3 by 2. That value, it is not as simple as solving this value t power minus 1 by 2, we found the gamma function. So plus 1 by 2, we found the gamma function. This proved that actually, so this is going to be of root pi. But this value, we cannot prove it straight away. So if you want to identify the gamma of 3 by 2, there are certain properties that are associated with the gamma function. And that properties you need to remember. So don't worry about the proof because that is too complicated. So, and that level of knowledge is anyway not required for us. It needs the demand, so it needs the knowledge of the gamma function and the beta functions also, which are anyway completely out of scope for us. So here actually I will give you the property which is useful to solve this kind of problems. That property is integral 0 to pi by 2 sine of sine power nx into dx, and this value is equal to gamma of n plus 1 by 2 divided by gamma of n plus 2 by 2 into pi by 2. This is the property. Let me cross check that property. Yeah. So this is root pi. That is the only difference. Yeah. So this property you can remember, and you always know that actually integral 0 to pi by 2 and sine power nx is as equivalent as this of cos power nx dx. These two are anyway same. Hence actually this function is repeated whether you take a cos function or a sine function. So this property you have to remember it. And if you remember this property, then actually you'll be able to solve any value for the gamma function. Now let us calculate gamma of 3 by 2. So gamma of 3 by 2, if you want to find it out, gamma of, now in this particular case, let us consider n is equal to 2, let us say. If n is equal to 2, if you substitute it in this function, gamma of 2 plus 1 by 2 divided by gamma of 2 plus 2 by 2, and this value is equal to integral and pi root pi by 2, and this value is equal to integral 0 to pi by 2 sine square x dx. And you know that this is a definite integral. This value you can straight away calculate it. This value is going to be of 1 by 2 into pi by 2. This is from the basic property of the integral. I just put the direct answer, but you can still solve this. Sine square can be expressed as 1 minus cos 2x by 2, and then actually you can solve that integral and substitute the limits. You are going to get this value of pi by 4, and this value is of pi by 4. Now here actually on the left side, if you notice, this is going to be of gamma of 3 by 2 divided by gamma of 2 plus 2 by 2 is going to be of gamma of 2. So gamma of 2 is anyway integer function. So for the integer function, this is going to be of n minus 1 factorial, which is nothing but 1 factorial is going to be of 1, and gamma of 3 by 2, which is there on the numerator. So this value is as equivalent as that of gamma of 3 by 2 into root pi by 2. So this value is same. So this, if you cancel it, this is going to be of 2 times, and this root pi is going to be of root pi times. So hence actually this is root pi by 2. So gamma of 3 by 2 is going to be of root pi by 2. Got it? Root pi by 2 is the value of gamma of 3 by 2. Now actually if you want to find out the Laplace transform of e power 1 by 2, this value is gamma of 3 by 2 divided by s power 3 by 2. This is root pi by 2 divided by s power 3 by 2. Got it? Why n is equal to 1 by 3? So here actually, if you replace n is equal to 2 in this case, then actually this value leads to gamma of 3 by 2, which you wanted to find it out. And then actually gamma of 2 plus 2 by 2 is going to be an integer value. And this, if you notice in this equation, there will be definitely one integer value, depending upon if it is 1 by 2 or minus 1 by 2 or 3 by 2 or whatever it may be, right? So here actually, this is 2 plus 2 by 2 is going to be of gamma of 2, which is nothing but 1 factorial. And this actually, being it is an integer, actually it will simplify our problem statement. And this fraction, you wanted to identify gamma of 3 by 2, for which you need to select n is equal to 2. Hence actually we replaced n is equal to 2 on either sides, and then we tried solving it. Got it? Yeah, you can use that property also, but as long as actually you are able to find it out, that is fine. Fine. So here actually, suppose if you want to find it out 5 by 2 like that, actually you are, so that is the question, right? So that is anyway actually out of scope, because actually those level of details are not discussed in any of the textbooks. So, but here actually the gamma function is anyway out of scope for you. Hence actually till this extent is sufficient enough. And then actually, as long as you are able to find out the gamma properties, then actually you will be able to solve any kind of problem. Suppose if you wanted to keep 5 by, so you are saying that 5 by 2. So for that 5 by 2, actually suppose if you want to keep 5, then actually n is equal to 3. Now n is equal to 3, if you substitute it, then actually 3 plus 2 is going to be of 5 by 2 in the denominator, and the numerator actually 3 plus 1 by 2 is going to be of 2, and this is going to be of 1 factorial, and then 5 by 2 is in the denominator. Hence actually you can still use the same property here. Got it? And you should be able to find out sine cube x dx value, and that value actually you have to find it out, and then actually you can still proceed further. Got it? Any questions? Right? Anyway, that level of complexity it's not asked, and that too only once it was asked, only in 2019, not earlier than that. Got it? Okay. Fine. So with this, actually, I have covered all the aspects which were asked in UPSC. None of the things are left over. Got it? That's all for today.